I have the privilege of being the student pastor here at Grace Bible Church. It's one of the roles that I have the honor of leading. And so that means I lead junior high students here at Grace, and we are taking a missions trip this summer to Cincinnati. And if you are tuning in, you are watching our virtual meeting, our video meeting for our trip that we're taking this summer to Cincinnati. Again, the dates for that are July 26th through the 31st. We'll leave here from the church Sunday morning, the 26th, and we'll be back sometime Friday in the evening on the 31st. This video is meant to replace informational meetings that generally are hard to get everybody there for. This way you're able to watch this at your convenience. But that being said, if you have any further questions about the trip, feel free to reach out to me. Again, I'm thankful for you tuning in to watch this. We'll just jump right into it. Why are we going to Cincinnati? What exactly will we be doing in Cincinnati? We go to Cincinnati because it is an awesome opportunity for us to get away from our local setting and culture to a place where we can stretch ourselves and maybe expose ourselves to different cultures. Cincinnati is a larger city than Akron, and in some ways even different than Cleveland, areas like that, where we'll be able to be exposed to an urban context and learn what God is doing in these urban communities. We'll be partnering with different ministries in the city of Cincinnati, then also the surrounding area of Cincinnati, even places like Covington, Kentucky, and other areas. We'll be feeding people who are needy. We'll be partnering with local assisted living facilities that kind of serve individuals with disabilities. We will be partnering with a relief group that actually a lot of the natural disasters that happen, for example, Puerto Rico, Hurricane Maria, when Houston was flooded, those areas that are affected, they receive relief packages. And there's a ministry we partner with in Cincinnati where they put together those relief packages for natural disasters. They are sent all over the world. It's a Christian-based organization that seeks to assist people in dire need. And so we'll be partnering with them, and we will be working with after-school programs, putting on backyard Bible clubs, which is like a VBX for local communities. So they'll go hand out flyers, and then they'll host the VBX in those communities each and every day. So these are just a few examples of how we will be serving in the city of Cincinnati. And so we're excited to be able to go on the trip. And so those are some details about the trip. The next question is, who can go on this trip? Well, junior high students, but more specifically, they have to have completed their 6th grade year of education. That is a requirement set forth by Group Mission Trip, not necessarily Grace Bible Church. And so we partner with them in taking students who've completed their 6th grade year of education. It doesn't have to be through public schools. It can be through homeschool, but basically the equivalent of being finished with your 6th grade year, going in to your 7th grade year, having really a year of student ministry under your belt here at Grace Bible Church. Those are who can go as far as students. Adults, we have paid for sponsors that will be going with us to assist, and those sponsors are people who serve in our student ministry, and sometimes they are parents of students. Those spots have already been allotted. Those paid spots have been allotted. That being said, if you are a parent and you desire to go with us on this trip, you will then have to pay for your spot, and you will go as an adult, not necessarily as an assigned leader, but you will have some leadership responsibilities if you go with us. Again, the cost for the trip is $350. The deposit deadlines and things of that nature would also adhere to you. But we welcome parents to come on these trips so long as they adhere to the rules and code of conduct that we have as a ministry and as we serve our students. And also so as they qualify through our background check and then our screening situation. So there is an opportunity for you to go serve with your student if that is something that interests you. There is also one opportunity, and this is a first come, first serve thing. And so if you are interested in this, as a parent, then you need to jump on this quickly. But they have a opportunity in a program called the Red Shirt Program, where we would bring you with us as an adult via our transportation. You would stay in your own quarters at the church. It's nothing luxurious. It would probably be an air mattress in a room on a floor, similar to how all of us are staying at camp. The difference is that you would have responsibilities that don't necessarily coincide with what we're doing. So whether that's you would be serving in the kitchen, or you would be going with the paid group staff to the various work sites to take pictures, to make sure that we're fulfilling our ministry responsibilities. So that is an opportunity, an option for you as a parent if you would like to go but wouldn't necessarily want to be a adult leader for Grace. That's an option, and that is a paid-for thing. We would provide you with transportation to go down with us, barring that there is space for that, and then you would stay there. So if that's something that interests you, you need to get in touch with me, and that's a first come, first serve thing. So that is another option. I already mentioned the dates again, July 26th through the 31st. So you will see here, this is a letter that I sent out in an email, and I hope that you have received this letter. If you haven't and you would like to, just reach out to me. But a deposit to lock in a spot for this trip is due March 9th. That's a Monday. And it is a $50 non-refundable deposit. You'll see right here, $50 non-refundable. After March 9th, you can still sign up, barring that there are still spots available. Again, this is a first-come, first-serve thing. I can always add spots, but once the camp itself fills up, there will be no more spots available. After March 9th, deposits will go up to $200, with the remainder being due before we leave for Cincinnati. How you pay, you can make checks out to Grace Bible Church. You can go online and sign up for Push Pay, and there is a drop-down menu on Push Pay. If you're interested in knowing how to do that, that would be something you would reach out to me about. But you would create a login in Push Pay. You would search for Grace Bible Church of Akron, and then once you do that, you would enter some information for your credit card or your bank account, and then you would designate that money Cincinnati. Again, the deposit is due March 9th. I also want to draw your attention now to something else, the web page. This is where you would fill out all the forms for the missions trip, and you would be able to have any frequently asked questions answered. You would not make a payment. You do not do that. We do that. We take care of that. But your page would look different than this. So the way that you would go about getting to your page is I will be sending out a link that you will be able to click on. It will open, and we'll go to a page that looks like this, where it says welcome, group details, right? And off to this side, it would look a little different than mine. You would have your FAQs, the frequently asked questions. You would have a schedule, packing list. It even has the menu, what you're going to be eating. There are some post-trip resources that are available that we would get to you. But these things are all available on the website. But the most important thing about this website is up here you'll see participant info form. You click this, and this is where you will put in all the information regarding the mission trip. This is where you would enter in information, personal information, your communication information, the person's grade, all of those things. Of course, criminal history, background check, that is for adults. And you will have to, again, put a background check on file with us at Grace if you are planning on going as an adult on this mission trip. Again, I already mentioned the parent letter that I pulled up earlier that listed the dates for the deposits. If you have not received that letter, you probably want that letter. That has a lot of information about the trip, about why we go on the trip, what we'll be doing, things of that nature. One of the big questions that I'm often asked about is fundraising opportunities. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a sample fundraiser letter that I have put together that is customizable, that you will be able to use customized to you in order to serve the community. And you'll see this letter here, And my suggestion is, obviously, you would customize this and send it to family members. Your parents could, or if you're a parent that's wanting to go, you could send this to coworkers, people that you know who would be willing to donate and contribute financially to the trip. And you would just customize this letter, sign it yourself, and send it. Another thing you can do is oftentimes you can take these letters to businesses, local businesses, and put a letter on the counter, talk to the owner, the manager, and just say, hey, listen, we're going on this trip to do community service work in Cincinnati. Would you be willing to contribute? And oftentimes they do. I've been a recipient of contributions given by local businesses. Sometimes they'll do things like give you gift cards, and you can use that as a, if it's a grocery store, for example, take the $50 they give you for groceries and then take 50 of your own to put towards your trip. There are a lot of ways to raise support via those letters. I include in there a suggested donation. You'll see that here. I believe I say in here, would you pay $65? That's 1/7 of the trip cost. You can change that suggested donation based upon who you're sending it to, especially if you have knowledge of their financial situation. But I want to go ahead and say this. If this is a trip that you want to go on, then you too have to be vested financially in this trip. Whether that's by putting forth the effort to do the fundraising or by using some of the resources that you have at your disposal to put towards the trip. And I will say this too, there are often times that people here at Grace or in the community donate so that students who struggle financially, or maybe you have 4 kids that are trying to go on this trip all in your house. You're like, wow, that adds up quick, $350 times 4. There are people who are willing to give towards that, but we are more generally interested in, we see you putting forth the effort to raise the support. We want to help you. And it's because you're putting forth that effort. You're showing that you want to be part of this trip. So you have to invest financially, and it's going to require either you giving money yourself or giving of your time in order to put forth the effort to do the fundraisers. One other fundraiser that we do as a ministry is a fundraiser envelope. And you can kind of see that here. There's a description of the trip right here that kind of explains what we're doing in Cincinnati. Of course, the logo for Cincinnati. And what you would do is you would take these, whether that's door-to-door or to school functions or to your teachers at school or to your neighbors, whoever it may be, or your parents can take this to their workplace, or if they're raising money for themselves to go on the trip, they can do the same thing at their workplace. And you would just simply explain the situation using this information. I'm going on this trip. I'm trying to raise support for the trip. And then you would encourage them to donate. Underneath, you'll see these stickers here. Underneath the sticker, there is a dollar amount, whether that's 50 cents. It goes from 50 cents to $5. And people say, yeah, I'll donate. I've got a couple, I've got $10 in my wallet, and I'm willing to put forth $10 towards your trip. You would then say, okay, well, peel off a sticker. And they might peel off a 50 cents one and say, oh, I can do more than that. Peel off a couple. Before you know it, they peel off 3 or 4, and they're contributing $10, $20, $30 to your trip, and it really wasn't much work for you at all. One of the things I suggest is you get a bag of candy and you say, hey, for every donation you give, here's, a reward for that, or thank you so much for donating. And maybe one of the things you can do is on the back of this, you just jot down a note. This is who contributed, so that later you might send them a thank you card or send them a video of you just saying, hey, this is what happened on the trip, and it was incredible. Thanks so much for contributing. So those are just some ideas. Again, creativity, that's something that you can use. I will give you suggestions. But if you fill up like 2 or 3 of these, you've paid for your trip to Cincinnati. And it is an easy way to raise money. I've had students fill up 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of these some years when we've gone on mission trips in Texas, and they've been able to pay for themselves and some of their friends to go on the trip. So again, these are just ideas and ways that you can raise the support. But I believe this with all my heart. If God wants you to go on this trip, He will provide a way for you to do it, barring that you're invested. You have to be invested. There's no freebies, right? So when you go on these trips, it's like you got to show that you want to go, and you want to contribute your time, your energy, your efforts to going on that trip. And I believe God provides. God provides for you to go if you want to go. So if you have further questions, again, feel free to email me. at my email, which is stephen@grace-biblechurch.org, or you can reach out to me at the office. The number for the office is 330-882-4416, and you can even shoot me a text. My number is 432-770-5370. I want to take as many students as we can possibly to go on this trip. I believe it's well worth the investment, the time, the energy, the effort, and it's a life-changing experience. And so there's a lot of fun things involved in this trip too. It's not just all work, right? We do take the students to amusement parks. They get to experience, cooking a meal for one another. There's a lot of great things happening. But again, I just want to thank you for tuning into this video. If you have further questions, feel free to reach out to me.